Everybody, please gather around. Come here.
I think some people are still joining us.
Stiamo ok con volumul? Good. Chiar și când pierd, da? Okay. Good morning. Thanks for coming to my workshop. My throat is a bit sore, so you're going to probably hear this a lot, me cleaning my throat, try to understand. My name is Andrei Chirleșan. I'm from Hema Academy in Bucharest, Romania. I've been doing Hema since about 2011. I started self-taught with another friend, and then I was part of the first club in Romania in 2013, and then I started Hema in 2017, right? I tend to talk fast and think slow, which is the best combination. So if you guys, see me talking too fast or saying silly stuff, just raise your hand. You have a question, you can intervene whenever you want, okay? We're gonna have time for Q&A at the end. That's not going to be an issue. But if you have any question during the workshop, I prefer you address the question then because it's better on the spot while it's still, warm, right? Okay, so the first part of the workshop is going to be no gear, about, a third of it or something like that. And then I'll tell you when to put on full gear. We're going to go full gear because we're going to do some, intense stuff. There's going to be a progression from very easy drills to more complex one at the end. And we're going to start with the theory and concepts first so we know what we're talking about. That's how I usually do my workshops and that's how I teach at my class. I want people to understand the concepts first so we know what we're dealing with and then we do exercises and drills on those concepts. Okay? Cool. The workshop is focused on longsword, but you can apply it to other weapons as well. I mostly study longsword, that's my main discipline, but I also do one-handed weapons. And apart from that, I focus on the Liechtenauer tradition, the German tradition, okay? Everybody knows what I'm talking about when I'm saying Liechtenauer, right? German longsword. Okay, cool. So, let's start with some general concepts. I have this banner here that, I bring with me when I do the workshop. This part of the banner is the general concepts that I use for all of my lessons when I'm doing longsword in the club or anywhere abroad. This part down here is modular, depending on the workshop, I just take it off and on with this wonderful, super high-tech system, right? You just, I slap it on and I put some, clothes hangers on it. And this is the part of the workshop that we're doing today. This is the Nach and Indes part. We'll get through all of them. I'm going to talk super fast because I don't want to insist, but like I said, if you have any questions, just interrupt, okay? Cool. Now, the reason why I do this is because I think many of you know, if you read the sources, right, the sources don't tell you the basic stuff. Because when you were a master in the medieval times, you don't want to go tell people how to hold the sword, like, okay, this is the hammer grip, this is the pistol grip, or how to step, or how to stand on their own 2 feet or generate power, right? Those are general concepts. If you start with that, nobody's going to hire you to be their, write a house book and be their martial master. Because they're going to assume that they know these things. Even a mercenary was trained since from an early age, and let alone nobles, they used to train ever since they were like 5, 6 years old, and they could hold a stick. They used to get military training. So what we need to do in modern times is to interpret some things that they took for granted, right? So we use frog DNA from other, disciplines, and I tried to create a system in my club in which we have labels for the main concepts, so whenever I talk to students, they know what I'm talking about. I don't always have to tell them, like, please take your distance so you can hit your adversary in the head with 1 step. That's going to be a blade-to-body distance, okay? So they know what I'm talking about. We're going to get through that. Okay, now, when it comes to fencing, fencing is primarily chaotic from our perspective because we cannot control what the adversary is doing, right? We can only control what we are doing. So because fencing is chaos, what we're trying to do is to put order into chaos by our own actions. We can only control ourselves, right? So the way to do this, ideally, is to let your subconscious react to what's going on. You do not want to think when you're in a fight, right? You don't want to look at the other person and go like, okay, there's an Oberhau coming at me, I'm going to do a static parry, then I'm going to throw a Zwerchhau at their feet. You don't have the time to do that. There's no processing power, right? An interesting study that I've read, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I can remember the gist of it. They did studies with top athletes and tried to make them, focus on a task that was complex, consciously and then subconsciously. And they processed that consciously they had about like 8 megabytes of bandwidth, processing power, and subconsciously it was 16 gigabytes. So your subconscious is way faster than your conscious, okay? Whenever we do things, we want to do things subconsciously. The problem is, in order to do things subconsciously, you need to react correctly to the stimulus that you're given without thinking, and that happens with training. So, drum roll, the way to become a subconscious fencer that does the correct reaction is to consciously drill that technique for like, 10 years until you get it, okay? So that's the trick. It sounds easy in theory. Now everybody can go home and become expert fencers, right? Yeah. Except it takes like, thank you for coming to my workshop, like and subscribe, you have my, yeah, okay. So anyway, the point is you have to drill consciously for many, many years and many repetitions so that when someone is throwing a certain reaction, like you see this coming as an Unterhau, your brain immediately realizes it's an Unterhau and you go upper parry, okay? You don't think about it anymore, right? Okay, so if we understand this context that we're training to do stuff as fast as we can subconsciously, fencing just boils down to 3 things: distance, timing, and execution, okay? We're going to go through all of them soon, but if you're in the correct distance to do a technique, you're at the right moment to do a technique, and you have the capability to do it, so you've trained it enough that you can execute it, you've won. The other guy, you can do the most complex thing in the world and it's going to work out, okay? Everybody understands this, right? Cool. Now, when it comes to range, the second point of my workshop, the second point of this general topic that we're discussing now, right? Can anybody tell me what they think of when I say range? Let's make this interactive. Well, what do I mean by range? Raise your hands. What? From how far you can hit someone. That's a very simple and good definition. It's your reach, what they call, reach, right? But in fencing, it's not just the reach that we have with our body, right? You have things that determine our reach. So in fencing, you have the length of your hands, right? Because your dominant, your dominant hand is here, longsword, and right hand forward is where you have the most reach, and it depends on how long your arm is, right? Then you have the length of your feet, how big you can step, and the flexibility of your hips, because some people can take a step from here to here, right? While other people can probably just take, a smaller step because they're not that flexible, right? So you have these things, and on top of that, you have the length of the weapon, which all of these things are fixed. Once you've chosen a weapon for a fight, unless you change the weapon, you can't change the length of your weapon, the length of your arms, or the length of your feet, right? So then we have the following types of range that I described. I have hand range, what I can do with just moving my hands, right? I have hand and hips range, so I'm here, and if I lean towards the Shisen, I can probably get longer than I was before. And then I have hand, hips, and foot range, where I take a step, okay? Everybody clear on this one? Cool. Moving forward, for these types of range, we have max range and comfortable range, right? Max range is your lunge distance. You know what I mean, right? So if everybody knows how to do a lunge, right? You take a step, and then you go to the maximum point that you can step while still being stable, right? Afterwards. This is my max range, right? Now, if I do this in sparring for, I don't know, like 30, 50 times, right? 30 exchanges, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna be able to pull this off, right? Because I'm talking about the point where you can still stabilize your muscles near breaking point, right? But I have comfortable range. If I want to fight with an adversary and I know it's going to be a 3-minute fight in full gear, I'm probably going to take smaller steps. So I'm going to keep doing this so that I keep being able to move and come back with it, right? Okay? So what I'm interested in this workshop and all the other workshops, whenever we work and we do the drills, you should know your range, right? We can't work on this now, that's another workshop. But you should know your range and focus on your comfortable range. I don't want you to take big steps or overextend yourselves, okay? Just think about the comfortable range that you can do over and over again. Is that clear with everybody? Cool. This was regarding distance, right? Distance is an absolute term, right? If I'm looking at, what is your name? Nice to meet you, Steve. Cool. So I'm going to use it as an example. If I'm looking at Steve, right, and I know that there's probably about 1.5 meters between us or something like that, right? That is a fixed distance, right? But fencing is not static. Peter can choose to go back. Oh, Steve, I'm sorry. Peter's filming. I was looking at him and I got, sidetracked. Steve can choose to go back or go forward, and then the distance is changed, right? What is the one element that doesn't change in this equation? Can anybody tell me?
Your distance?
Your distance? Not my distance, my range. My distance can change because my distance is relative to my opponent, right? But when it comes to range, even if he goes back, I know I still have this range to hit him. This is my range with a passing step, okay? My full range, my full comfortable range. And I know that I have this range to hit him just with my hands, and this range to hit him just with my hips, right? So when you go home to practice, or during your fencing career, you should always know your range, because that is the only fixed thing you can count on, right? You can increase it by training, you can make your your hips more flexible, but mostly your range is the only thing you can count on, right? I don't know what he's gonna do. He might step towards me, sideways, backwards. I can only control my range, okay? So that brings us to action. We've been talking about distance so far, but when it comes to actions, I try to define actions so that my students understand what I'm talking about, right? Like I said before, I can move my hands and hips, or my hand, hips, and feet. I'm not interested in what I can do with just my hands, right? If I'm interested in what I can do with my hands in a full action, which means an upper body motion and a step, right? Because if I can hit someone with my hands, I can definitely hit them with a step, right? But if I can hit them with a step, I can hit them with my hands. So I define an action as a full upper body motion, hands plus minus hips, and the step. Is that clear? So when I say one action, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, it's going to be relevant for the Nach and Indes part later on. Okay, The step doesn't matter, by the way. If you make some measurements on the ground in your comfortable range, not in lunge distance, it doesn't matter if you take a passing step from here or if you take a line step, right? It's approximately the same. It's still, 20 centimeters of stepping, right? It doesn't matter if I do a gathered step, it's the same distance that I've traveled, right? For our intents and purposes, there are many parameters in fencing. We're trying to simplify it, like in math problems, right? We assume that all steps are equal because they're kind of equal, okay? So an action is an upper body motion and a step. It doesn't matter if I'm doing this, right? Or if I'm cutting on a counter step. It's the same thing, okay? I've reached kind of the same distance. Okay, so based on what we discussed so far, I'm going to ask you to come closer because there's no point in me reading them like in school. I defined 4 distances, okay? You can read them out and then I'll reenact them with Steve, my new friend here, okay? So in order to help the students in my club, I have body to body, blade to body, blade to blade, and no contact, okay? It's just 4 simple distances that I use to explain all the techniques and all the concepts that we do in the club, right? Now, back off a bit, thank you. And I'll show them to you with him. Okay, cool, thank you. So, Steve is my target, right? I don't know what he's going to do, but I can count on my distance, right? How I define these distances for my students is I reverse engineer them. So I'm interested in the functionality of what I can do with just one upper body movement and one step, right? So the way I do that is I go into here, for example, put your weapon like this, right? And I put my left hand on him, right? This is my grappling distance, okay? If I can touch him here, I can do all sorts of fun stuff, right? So, or, this or other stuff that I can do, right? If I can touch him with my hand, right, this is not my body-to-body distance. My body-to-body distance, like I said before, is when I take a step. So this is going to be my body-to-body distance, okay? Clear for everyone, right? We reverse engineer it. From here, if I take one step, I can do stuff and touch his body, right? I did a line step now, but I can very well do this, and then I can touch his body, right? Okay, cool. Blade-to-body distance is when I put my percussion point on his neck, head, or shoulder, because that's how we're taught to cut, with the percussion point, right? Not the tip. We don't want tippy taps because the judges don't score that. Remember that, okay? Cool. So I put my percussion point on him and then I take a passing step back, right? That's my blade to body distance in my comfortable range, okay? Blade to blade. We're touching at the points. It's a neutral bind, again, percussion point, and then I take a step back, right? This is my blade to blade distance, comfortable range. Question here. Did anybody in the class think that I can actually manipulate his blade from this distance? Most students, especially beginner students, some people nodding, very good, you're experienced fencers. Most beginner students are like, I'm safe here, right? We're not safe here. You know that, right? You know that. Why? Because how many steps does it take me from here to actually hit his body? 2. I can go 1 step, manipulating his blade, and then the second one is at his body, right? Because if I take just 1 step, it's blade to blade, right? If one step, I can manipulate his blade and do other stuff, right? But with the second step, I can hit his body, right? So most beginner students don't get this. You're like 2 steps away from death here, And it depends on everybody's range. If someone's tall, like him, like he's taller than me, right? This might be blade to blade distance, which is super freaky for, a smaller fence. Like, how the hell did he thrust me because, he took 2 steps and he's there, right? Okay, and then we have no contact, which is on here, right? And I go 1, 2 steps away, right? And from here, I can't do anything to Steve. It's, I can just, if I just take 1 step, nothing's gonna happen, right? Also, the distance is assumed that he's standing still, right? But for example, if I'm here, this is my blade to blade distance with 1 step, right? Just take 1 step back when I come at you. So we do this, right? What distance am I in now?
No contact.
Blade to blade. It's the same distance. I'm still going, like, we just kept the distance, right? Go again. So we're in blade to blade, right? At the moment. Take a step towards me when I do that. What distance am I in now? Blade, because I can cross directly with just a tiny line step, okay? Cool. That's what I'm saying. I think they're useful as labels. You can think about these things tactically, and when we come to Nach and Indes, it's all tactics. So you need to be in the right distance and the right time to do the right thing, okay? Any questions so far? I'm going super fast because this is the intro part. Questions? All good, good. Let's...
A small one.
Yeah.
If you go to blade contact.
Yeah.
And Steve, depending on how good he is to launch, for me, he looked like if he takes a really big launch, he can hit you.
Yes, you're screwed. You are totally screwed. Yes, that is the answer to your question. You need to know that the max distance, the max range is the lunge, right? So if he decides to take a lunge, you're screwed. But the problem is lunges are usually unstable. So if I come here, it does a big lunge, go a big lunge, and I see it, go, and I see it, he's here, right? And from here I can just, because comfortable range is better in my book, right? I can take more steps to do more actions, right? But if he catches you, he's athletic, he got the throat, and that's it. It's a good question. Cool. let's talk about threat, because you're going to see that 4 Nach and Indes have to deal with two things. They deal with initiative and threat, right? I define 3 levels of threat for my students. I have direct threat, pending threat, and no threat, right? Direct threat is super simple, and it's also, it's also supported by the sources. So direct threat is, you know, in the sources they say Ringek has expressions like take the throat without fear, right? Or go forth courageously and hit him in the teeth or something like that, right? The point is they always tell you a body target. And if you read the passages about the fear blossen, the four openings, right? They tell you do not strike at his blade. For those that chase the blade will little enjoy their art and blah, 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 right? Not the exact passage, but that's the gist of it. What they tell you is to hit the body all the time, right? So I define it the same way. A direct threat is a single action, so an upper body motion and a step, that is attacking one of your blossen, one of your openings, right? If there's something coming at your body, that is a direct threat, if their blade is coming towards you, okay? A pending threat is going to be that you are performing an action that sets up a direct threat in the next motion. So, back again, just stand there, right? This is a direct threat because it's coming towards his head, right? If I'm in blade to blade, go again, and I do this one was a pending threat, okay? I didn't hit his body, but the next one is going to be in his body. You get what I'm saying, right? Cool. No threat is any kind of other kind of action or even inaction that doesn't cause you any sort of threat. So it's not a direct threat, it's not coming towards you, and it's not setting up a threat. Can anybody give me an example what this would be like? Depends, because if I'm in a bind and I do this is still a pending threat because I'm still, you know, next one is in his body, right? But if I'm here and I do this, you get that, right? The moment that exactly. I do this is an threat because my neural system is focused on changing stuff. But the biggest thing is when you leave a bind unsafely, because there's several ways of leaving a bind correctly, right? Like you can go, he parried, just parry. Parried here, bravo, and then I go abnehmen, right? This is a good one, right? Or I go from here, umschlagen, right? This is cool. But if I just do this, that's his moment to attack me in the arms, right? Because it's a no threat, okay? No threat can also be getting out of distance. So I'm here, we do this, I'm afraid, and I go here. This was a no threat action because, you know, I just stepped out of distance, I can't do anything, right? Make sense? Cool. We're finally at the part of the workshop that is, you know, based on what we're doing now. These were the general concepts, right? But when I tell you in the drills, I want you to take your blade to body distance, you know what I'm talking about, right? You put your percussion point on their neck and you take a step back, okay? But the distances that you take in the drills will always be calculated based on the shorter person, right? Because the taller person is going to be able to hit anyway, so I want the shorter person to be able to do the drill. Cool. So, timing modes, 4 Nach and Indes, right? The most important thing that we need to understand here, like I said at the beginning with basic biomechanics, is that the sources that we study, and I work with, I forgot to mention at the beginning, I work with the early sources. I'm a Ringek, Danzig, and Döbringer guy, right? And maybe a little bit of Jude Liu. But those are my primary sources. They do not mention, in the Liechtenauer tradition, specific units or time, right? They do not tell you need to do this in 1.2 seconds or 300 milliseconds or something like that. That would be absurd, right? Because nobody can calculate how long it takes a fencer to do a certain action. It's not professional to give an absolute unit of time, right? But we don't even have examples like in the Italian tradition with tempo, you know, 1 tempo, 2 tempi. In the Liechtenauer tradition, they do not mention this. They do not give you a measurement of time, right? But we do have the concepts of 4 Nach and Indes, and we have the concepts of Zufechten, Krieg, Ringen, and Abzug, right? So we're going to talk about these a bit. What is Zufechten, Krieg, Ringen, and Abzug? Can anybody tell me? Have you heard about them in the sources? Raise your hands, who knows? Just raise your hands. Okay, a lot of people, cool. What is Zufechten? Let's start like this.
Fighting towards the enemy to present a threat and also to not really give away what
you're going to do. Okay, a very good definition. That's a very good definition. It's descriptive. These things are all phases of the fight, right? A common misconception, in my opinion, that I see when I hear other people, you know, talking Hema beer when you're into a restaurant and you do stuff with your knife, like every Hemaist does, right? You don't scare the waiters. Yeah. When you talk to people over beers about Hema, they're going to go like, oh yeah, I was in Krieg distance, right? And that kind of nags me a bit because these are not distances, in my opinion, right? They are phases of the fight. They are intervals. Is this yours? Yeah, this is yours. Huh? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. These are not distances. They are intervals of the fight, time intervals in which you can do certain functions. Like he very well said before, in Zufechten is where I make my plan, right? I look at the other guy and I go like, okay, where the corners, they say fences ready, salute, right, at the beginning of the match. And I go, I think I'm going to start in left ox, right? That was Zufechten for me. I have an initial starting guard from which I can do an action or a thrust or something, right? Which obviously might change based on his reaction. But it is just a phase. I just make a plan in it, right? Krieg is the phase of the fight in which our blades are touching and we do the Handarbeit that I mentioned there, the handiwork, right? Where we do all sorts of stuff with the blades, okay? This is the middle phase of the fight. Yep, we have a rock on it, don't worry. Ringen is the phase of the fight in which we can no longer hurt each other with our blades and we have to go into grappling and do other stuff, right? And then Abzug is the phase of the fight called the withdrawal. It's formulated by Meyer in later times. In the early sources, they don't mention it expressly, but Joachim Meyer actually mentions it expressly. It says like, if you go zu fechten, right? You go here, you go into Einhorn, you just sit there. I see his opening, I cut his arm, and then I have to withdraw, right? That is the withdrawal, the Abzug, okay? And he says that after you finish your plan that you formulated and Zufechted and executed in Krieg, you're supposed to get out, okay? With me so far? So we have these indications. They tell you that you should, the sources tell you that you should break up a fight time-wise into functionalities. You make your plan in Zufechten, you execute it in Krieg or Ringen if you got too close and it didn't work in Krieg, right? And then you get out safely in Abzug. These are basically the 3 times, right, that you do. Okay. For Nach and Indes. These are mentioned even in Liechtenauer's Zettel, in the poem. So not only in the glosses, but in the actual poem at the beginning, right? And he says that they are 3 of the 5 most important words in the tradition, right? Raise your hands who knows about For Nach and Indes. Read before, okay? Cool, a lot of people. Very, very nice. Okay, we're gonna, because we're pressed by time, it's a 1 hour and a half workshop, I'm not gonna do this interactively with you like what do you think for is, I'm just gonna go forward, right? So, for means before in English translation, and we use the modern terms act or offensive in our club, right? Nach means after the English translation, and we use the terms react or defensive. And Indes is meanwhile or in the moment, right? And we use counteract or counteroffensive. So you can see them as act, react, counteract, or offensive, defensive, and counteroffensive, okay? Now, in order to understand For Nach and Indes, we need to understand that they're a combination of initiative and threat, okay? They're not just one thing. When people talk about it, I've noticed a confusion that appears between Nach and Indes, right? Because most people can understand what for is, but it gets tricky with Nach and Indes. So to clear that, we're gonna talk in D&D terms. Who here is D&D? You know, yay, exactly. Nerds united, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. You know when in D&D you have your turn, right? And it's like that person's turn, and so on. You can understand initiative in the same way. The only difference is that in real life, I can go over his turn. So if it's Steve's turn, I can say like, nope, I'm doing this as well, right? So it's different from this point of view, right? You can go on another person's turn. But conceptually, initiative is the same thing. We're here, we're looking at each other, we're in distance, and then at some point, one of us decides to make a move, right? That is taking initiative. With me so far? We're good, right? Cool. But if you look at for and nach, that makes sense. For means the before. So if I take the initiative with a direct threat, like we mentioned before, so I'm not just doing flippy twirlies, right? I'm actually attacking his body, right? I've taken the for, right? If he takes the initiative, I can choose to just defend against his attack, not doing anything else. So this was a no threat action for him, right? I just parried, right? And then I fought in Nach. I was after, right? Like the sources tell us. Cool. Objectively, when we look at initiative, it's a physical thing. It's based on time, right? Like T1, T0, who started first? If he started first, he has the for. If I've started second, I have the Nach, right? The problem is, if I'm doing an Indes action, try and thrust me from flug. Left flug, yeah. If I'm doing an Indes action and I do this, right? When have I started?
Yes.
Yes? What?
Yes. Just yes, you started.
No, when have I started? So we're here and we go slow, super slow. When did I start?
Long before he started moving.
No, I started second. That's the thing, it looks fluent, but I always start second. Even if I go, like do the thrust again. If I do nach, or if I go, trust me, you don't have to go away. Just go through, exactly, chest, so it bends. Go again. So, nach, and absitzen, slower. Let's do it glacially slow. So go first, boom, okay, and then go again. I'm always starting second. That's the problem. If you look at them objective from a time-based perspective, you cannot differentiate between Indes and Nach. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? This is the main point of the workshop, right? Indes and Nach, you're always starting second. If you just look at the initiative like D&D, it was his turn, then it was my turn, right? The only difference between Indes and Nach comes from the threat level. If you look at the threat, when he's doing the attack, he's taking the 4 and always presenting a direct threat, right? So the difference between Nach and Indes requires a second component, that of threat. If I'm doing Nach, I'm just guarding against his attack. I'm just canceling his attack, okay? If I'm doing Indes, I am both canceling the attack with my strong and at the same action presenting my own direct threat. Does it make sense? So that is the main difference between Nach and Indes. The threat response is different. When I'm doing Indes, I am counteracting him, or I'm being counteroffensive. So I'm not just being passive, I'm not just being defensive, right? Do an Oberhau at my head. I'm here, right? If I do this, you see what happened? Strong here, weak on his face, right? I'm doing a Zwerchhau. Go again. I'm doing this. Boom, what happened? Strong here, weak in his face, okay? It's always defense plus offense, and I'm using the geometry of the weapon to perform both these things on his action. Remember actions before? He's just doing one upper body motion and a step. I'm doing one upper body motion and a step, but I'm doing it defense and offense at the same time, using the geometry of the blade. Make sense? Okay, so we know what 4 Nach and Indes are now, right? Cool. We've discussed threat. This was the theoretical part of the workshop. I do have to mention one thing, okay? I don't think we have time for this now, but we have time at the Q&A. The source fund, right? The other Indes and the Dobringer's Nach. If you read the sources, these 3 sources, the glosses, Ringig, Danzig, and Dobringer, Ringig is super clear. His passages tell you that, you take the before with the actions, which means, 4 means presenting a direct threat. You shall break his actions if he comes against you and try to parry. That's Nach, right? And then they tell you about Indes that if you fail in the moment, you should try to retake the 4 by doing that. Super clear. When it comes to Danzig, things get a bit muddy between Nach and Indes, but you can still understand what's going on. And then you have Dobringer, which makes Nach sound very weird because it's like, you take the 4, just parry, what I'm about to do now, right? So Dobringer says, you shall take the 4 and throw the Vorschlag, the first strike, right? And if you are parried, immediately in the motion, perform the Nachschlag, the next cuts, right? And keep cutting at him. If you look at it, it sounds like his Nach is closer to Indes from a bind, right? And then when he talks about Indes, he specifically goes for a bind. Says that if you parry, the moment that you feel the blades connecting, continue and do something else, right? So we don't know exactly why he does that. It's, we should read the sources so you understand what I'm talking about. But he confuses things a bit more than Ringig, Danzig, and Dobringer. Than Ringig and Danzig. But if you look at Ringig, which is my favorite guy because he's simple and direct, right? All of these concepts that I mentioned before are super clear. 4 is when you're presenting a direct threat, right? Nach is when you're breaking his threats. And Indes is when you're doing both defense and offense on the same action, okay? If you want to at Q&A, I can open up the article and we can actually talk about the other Indes and Dobringer and what he's discussing. But I just wanted you to know that if you read the sources, you're going to see some weird cognitive dissonance there when it comes to Dobringer, okay? Cool. Now we're going to put all our weapons down and we're going to do 3 exercises without blades. You just need the mask and the gloves. Those are recommended, okay? Okay. I forgot to mention an important part before we start the drill, just one more thing, right? Let's make a new friend. What's your name? No, you, yeah.
Simon.
Simon. Nice to meet you, Simon.
Hi.
Cool. Yeah, okay. Just take the blade. Question for the class based on the concepts that we had so far. So we know what 4 is, Nach is, and Indes, right? If we're here, right? You hit me in the head. We're here, right? And we freeze motion here. We freeze time, right? We're just stopped physically, right? Who has the 4 now?
Simon. Whoever acts first.
Okay, I heard several answers. Keep it coming. Huh?
Whoever's got the better line of threat.
Interesting. Okay, I usually hear these answers. So he said Simon, right? You said who has the line of threat, and you said whoever acts first, right? I'm going to ask all of you in turn. Why Simon? Why does he have the 4?
Because he acted first.
Because yeah, but he had the 4. I'm saying now the action is stopped.
Now.
Okay, now who has the 4?
I guess you.
Why?
Because you have the direct threat now. So.
Okay, in my opinion, and that's what I wanted to insist on in this workshop, no one has the 4. Like she said, whoever acts first, right? A tactical positioning allows me to do a technique faster, right? So like he says, I'm here, I can probably drop my point into his face. But if he's athletic and fast, he can also push through the bind and drop his point into my chest. Or he can turn around and thwack me with a Zwerchhau, right? In my opinion, it doesn't matter that much if my point is online, right? So just hit me again. Do an Oberhau. No, but don't do above my head. Go at my head. Okay, this is for Zetzen, right? My point is online. All I need to do from here is to just step and I'm here, right? I do have a biomechanical and geometric advantage. It means that if I start first, just go back here where we were. If I go first, I should be able to hit him, right? But if he's good at parrying and fast enough, he will just do a static parry, push me offline, and then he can do that with Zetzen, right? So I don't think that the geometry of the blade is the most important factor. The most important factor is exactly what she said. Whoever acts first, okay? So if my neural system is fast enough, even if I'm in a bad position, I'm here and I know he's gonna thrust me, do the thrust. But I do a wind, right? And I'm fast enough to do a wind, then I can drop my own point and go back, okay? So the answer to this question is nobody has the 4. The moment that you've done something, no matter how complex the action is, right? You've done all these flippy twirlies, right? By the way, these were all pending threats because I was doing this, I can always drop it in his head, doing this, drop it on his hands, right? All the pending threats. The moment that I've actually taken the threat and done a direct hit, let's go parry, right? Yeah. So you just go here, boom, right? No one has the 4. From here, I can do another cut, like, go on the other side, or he can start, exactly, or I can go here. These are just techniques and implementations. You get what I'm saying, right? We were talking about before the right distance, the right timing, and the right execution, right? This is an execution thing. If he moves fast enough and he's better than me, yay for him, he won. But it doesn't matter. What matters is who took the 4. You get me? So once you've lost the 4, you need to get it back, right? Second question for the class. If he takes the 4, go again, stop. He's here, right? What are my options? Tactically speaking, what options do I have left? Not techniques. I'm not talking about I can throw an Oberhau, I can do a Zwerchhau, I can do an Unter. Tactically, what options remain to me right now, in this moment?
Engage or disengage?
Nope. Nach or Indes. They're couplets. If someone has the 4, the other person's options are always Nach or Indes. That's what I want you to remember from this workshop. If you fight with someone and you look at your adversary, it's supposed to be a dialogue, right? If the other guy extended his hands and he's presenting a direct threat, you see how he flinched now? Because I made it look real. I was talking and he saw me coming at his face, right? And I didn't warn him about it, right? If you focus and take it as if it's a fight with sharps, you can actually notice that your partner has the 4, okay? People are suicidal in Hema and they do doubles because they ignore their partner, because they have full gear, right? But now when he was a threat and without a mask, he was like, oh shit, he has the 4, okay? We all see this. You just have to look at the partner, right? If he has the 4, my only options are Nach or Indes. I can choose to do a 4, continue, but then it's gonna be a double, right? The only options that I have is if he has the 4 is to Nach, parry, or go again, Indes, right? Do a Zwerchhau or something else. Indes is way more difficult to pull off, obviously. If you can do it, that's cool. You get the points and also, fashion statement points for doing a Meisterhau, right? But if someone else has the 4, you have lost the 4. And the sources teach you that, right? You either take the 4 and do all the Nachschlagen afterwards to keep him busy, or if you've lost the 4, you need to break his attack and then retake the 4. Does it make sense? Okay, this is exactly what we're going to do. Thank you for the help. At this exercise, put the weapon down. Just give it to me. And we're going to go 2 by 2. Yeah.
4 is always a direct threat.
Yes.
Not depending on.
Yes. If you do this all day, it's not a direct threat. The direct threat is the moment that the blade has stopped turning and coming towards one of your openings, a part of your body. Okay. And the sources tell you to always hit the body. Don't chase the blade. Don't chase the opponent. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? Good. We're going to go 2 by 2, right? Don't hit each other too hard with the gloves because they're Hema gloves and they might, you might feel them to the mask as well. But I want you to, new friend, come here. What's your name? Cool. Nice to meet you. Cool. So, put your mask on. The first exercise is super simple, right? Thank you. So we have an initiator and responder, right? That's what I call these roles, right? And fencer A, fencer B. We're going to stand right foot forward. Take your distance so that you can slap me in the face a bit closer. Without moving, we don't want any steps, right? No footwork allowed, nothing else, just the hands, right? We start with our hands here or the right hand at the face. You can choose that, but either this or this, right? Here is more fair for everyone, but whatever, you can do whatever, yeah? Okay, and if I'm the initiator, I am allowed to only attack with my right hand, okay? This is the only thing I can do. I can just do this, okay? Now, If he is the responder, he's allowed to do two things. He can respond in Nach or Indes, right? I'm going to demonstrate. So you attack me? Okay, go just slowly. Yeah, just tap my face. Yeah. Okay, so he's doing the attacks over and over again. Okay, he's the initiator, right? My responses to this at this drill are just two things. I'm not allowed to attack him ever. I'm just allowed to react to losing the 4, right? So when he takes the 4, I'm allowed to go Nach, just Nach with my left hand. I'm only allowed to parry with my left hand, right? Or, what was this? Indes, okay. So I go parry with the left hand and go with the right, right? I do not want you to do it sequentially, not go, not boom, boom. That's still Nach. It's Nach 4, right? I've Nach and then taken the 4. I want you to do Indes like this. So both hands move at the same time, right? If any of you are doing, thank you, any of you are doing rapier and dagger or anything, you know that the hands move at the same time, right? Or sword and buckler, okay? So I'm just hitting right foot forward. The distance is for the shortest person. Do not dodge from the body. Don't do matrices. Let your partner hit you and make it a game, right? The guy that attacks, you want to hit the target. The guy that defends, you're allowed to do it in Nach, 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 and then Indes, and you hit the target, okay? 2 by 2s. Let's see how it goes.
Ik moet wel reageren en niet proberen te anticiperen.
Okay, now do the Indes as well. No, when she attacks you, do the Indes as well. Nope, same time. Yeah, that's it. Bravo. Cool.
Hier, dan probeer ik te anticiperen. Dus dat is
Good.
Klein deugje.
You can make it faster.
Make it faster?
Yeah, that's why he's wearing a mask. Exactly. Okay, good. Good. You're doing this. Okay. After you do about 20 repetitions, you switch roles. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Very good.
Okay.
Do the Indes as well. I want to see the Indes too. See? Okay, cool. Nope, don't anticipate. Very good. It's good that you're testing him. Keep doing that. No, don't do body stuff. So just stand right foot forward. Right foot forward. You're a righty, right?
I'm a righty.
Okay.
She's a lefty. She did a left.
Ah, okay. Then do left foot forward and then you switch. You help her out.
No,
Okay,
it's
cool.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, just go into distance closer so you don't have to lean. You have to. I just want speed so you can hit his face with the hand. Okay? Exactly. Maybe a bit more. Closer. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Cool. And you do both Nach and Indes, right? Show me. Show both of them. Good. Very good. Okay, cool. Switch roles when you do 20 repetitions.
You're trying to yeah.
So I get up like from this angle here,
Yeah.
really. I don't realize when I'm doing it.
Do you want me to tell you when you're doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. Cool. When you do 20 repetitions, switch roles. Okay, very good. Cool. Keep at it. Stay right foot forward so you have maximum reach with your dominant hand. Yeah, okay. You're the responder. He's attacking, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's attacking, you're allowed to do either just the Nach or Indes, right? But when he's attacking, not before. Go
Yeah,
again.
he was starting to move.
Yeah, I know, he's doing it slow. If you want him to do it faster, you can tell him to do it faster. You can make it as a game. You can actually try to, you know, like, stab him, right? Just don't break his face. Try to. Good, very good. Also, stop a bit. You're doing it rhythmically. That's what he says, like, he's getting used to the rhythm, okay? You can just, like, stop a bit, then go again, okay? Don't make it rhythmical. Good. Okay, when you do 20 times, switch roles. Okay? Cool. Don't hold your hands here because that's difficult for him, right? Either here or just the right hand at the face, right? So
He's
either,
also doing like this, so...
yeah, I know. Just it's more difficult if you have your hands already in a guard position, right? So either here or just the right hand at the face. Left hand is down, right? And right foot forward if your right is. Yeah, max reach for your dominant hand. Okay, go again. Good. Good, Indes, nice, cool.
Yeah, I adjusted as well at the same time.
Okay, everybody stop, gather around so you can hear me with my rusty voice. Okay, is there anybody that had difficulty with this exercise? Okay, why?
It's fast.
It's fast, okay, but not conceptually, right? You know what we're doing. Okay, so everybody understood that we're just simplifying everything to no footwork, no weapon, not a lot of gear. We're just doing 4 Nach and Indes in a simple slap game, right? Cool. Now, we're going to do the exact same drill, but we're going to add modifications to it. So we have Initiator Responder. Right, come here. You can help me. Just lower the mask. Yeah.
Put it on.
Put it down now. Put it down. We're not going to hurt each other. Right foot forward if you're a righty, left foot forward if you're a lefty, because I want maximum reach for the dominant hand, right? Okay, so it's the same drill. He is the initiator, I'm the responder. Now, the only difference is that both initiator and responder can make a second attack after their action has finished. So, if he's the initiator and he attacks, if I've parried this one, he's now allowed to make another attack, only with the right hand. So he can go either here or pull it back and try to go again here, okay? Now, if I parried with Nach, this is going to be a Nachschlag, right? He took the 4, he did the first strike, and then he's doing the second strike, like the sources tell you, right? If I parried him with Indes, he also got hit. So in fencing terms, this would be an afterblow, okay? So the initiator can do a Nachschlag or an afterblow, and for me, the responder, if I finished my action, I'm allowed to do an attack, but only when I finish my action, not before, right? So if he attacks me and I go here, now I'm allowed to do my own attack, right? What would this be in fencing terms? A Parry-Riposte, okay? So I parried and riposted. Cool. If I do it with Indes, that was my Vorschlag, my first hit, because I parried him at the same time. And if I do the second one, it's going to be a Nachschlag, okay? Just like for him, the second strike, right? So both of us are allowed to do a second attack, but only when our action has completed, the first one. It doesn't matter what role we have, okay? When you do 20 repetitions of this, you switch roles again, right? Let's see how this goes, and we'll talk afterwards. Thank you for the help. You understand the rules, right? If not, ask me. A second attack, just one more, right? Right foot forward, yeah. Okay, and you can go either here or here, right? Yeah. Yes. Cool.
Is het gelijk?
Keep it, yeah, yeah.
I'm attacking.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Nachschlag.
Yeah.
And he can I block?
Nope, you're not supposed to block. You're just allowed to do another attack, a second attack. But not parrying. Just a second attack. If you want to. If not, he can do a second attack. Yeah, you just figure it out. But nobody's allowed to parry when they're not allowed to parry.
Okay.
Yeah, just a second attack. That's it. After your action is completed. Yeah, sure.
Who is supposed to... So we can both make an extra attack,
A
right?
second attack after your action is completed.
Now what's gonna happen is that we're both doing a second attack, so we're just doubling.
Stand right foot forward, show me the drill, and we'll talk afterwards. Okay? You're doing great. Keep at it. I'll talk with you afterwards. Yeah. Zet in mijn zeepje, we doen het nooit. Yeah, sure.
What should the second? Who should be doing the second action?
So again, you guys decide at the beginning who's initiator, who's responder, right? And if he's the initiator, let's say, right? He can attack right? And he can do a second attack after he's completed his action.
Okay, so I can't heat shoot.
Yeah, but if you're the responder and you've parried, you can also do a second attack after you've completed your action.
But then that's basically going to be a double.
No, it's like if you look at each other, go here. So he's the attacker, right? I've done this, right? I can choose to attack now, but I know that he also has the option to attack, right? So I can choose not to. You get what I'm saying? But you're doing great. It's a wonderful question. I'll tell you after the drill why, right? Just keep at it. You can both do a second attack after you completed your action. Remember that. You choose to do it or not. Just do it. Yeah.
So the idea is he's attacking, so I block, and now I go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
And he can respond with another.
After you've hit him, yes. After you've hit him, not at the same time. Yeah. So a second attack when your action is completed, right? For you're the responder, you're parrying, your action is to parry, right? So the moment that you've parried like this or like this, you're allowed to do a second attack. But only when your action is completed, okay? And for him as well, he's the attacker, the initiator. If he does the attack, he can now attack again, but only when his action is completed. 1 second attack, okay? Keep at it. Okay, everybody stop, gather around, please. Question for the class. Did you have any afterblows or doubles?
Yes.
Raise your hands. Who had afterblows or doubles?
Doubles.
Double doubles. Overachievers. Excellent. Cool. Okay, question. How many afterblows or doubles did you have in the first exercise?
More than in the second.
0, right? In the first one. Not the second, the first one, right? 0. Okay. What happened in the second one? Some of you asked me the question while you were doing the drill, you were very prescient about it, and you're like, but now we're doubling. And I was like, yes, keep at it, right? Why is this happening? Why are you doubling or afterblowing?
We're ignoring the
Sorry?
Defense is weak.
Yeah? What?
Well, when you're already extended, your defense is weak.
Of course, because you're committed, right? Very good answer. Something else?
we're ignoring threats.
You're ignoring threats. Thank you, man. You deserve a medal, for real, right? It's like, what I want to show you with these exercises, we're going to go with the blades later on. That's why we have full gear, right? But the slap exercises, it usually helps unblock my students mentally because they're like, oh, it has nothing to do with technique or the weight of the weapon or my body. It's just a neural thing, right? I'm ignoring my adversary. We're just doing slaps, right foot forward. We're not moving. We're not using footwork. It's the same distance, right? So what went wrong? The first time, everybody in the first exercise, your roles were super perfectly determined, right? He was the initiator, I was the responder. All I had to do was just parry nach or respond in Indes. And all he had to do was just attack, right? The moment that you give the fencers choice, things become complicated because like, okay, now I can parry and knock, but I can also do an afterblow, right? Or with the attacker, okay, I've attacked once, but I can also do a nachschlag, right? So the moment you have choice, that's when you have to look at your adversary, like he says, right? Choice is, super cool because I can do a lot of things tactically, but it also means the responsibility of looking at my adversary. Is this clear for everybody? It's a super simple drill. You just do slaps, right? If I ignore my adversary, we're going to get doubles or afterblows. It has nothing to do with how good I am at doing Zwerchhaus, right? It's technique independent. It's just neural system and tactics, okay? That's the main point of this workshop. Look at your adversary, and thank you for the line, right? If you're ignoring threats, you're going to get doubles and afterblows, okay? Now we're going to make this drill even more interesting to show you what freedom can do to you, right? Okay. Everybody is allowed to be both initiator and responder. It's a free-for-all. You just stand with your right foot forward and you can choose to either attack or parry Nach and Indes or do a second attack whenever you want to. Let's see how this goes. And look at your adversary. Look at the opponent, okay? What? Oh, yeah. By the way, like he said, the only rule that remains the same is you're only allowed to attack with the right hand, okay? You parry with the left, you attack with the right. This stays the same, right?
Can we also do a Parry-Riposte?
Yes, you can do whatever you want. You can initiate or respond. Just look at your opponent. Good, very good. Vorschlag and Nachschlag, very nice. You dominated.
Yeah, now it's getting harder. You're not allowed to attack with your left hand. Just your right hand, okay? Only
I was anticipating his strike.
yeah, but
like
you don't parry here. You parry here, okay? So you're allowed to lift your left hand to parry and do the Indes, but don't go towards it. Yep. Cool.
Yes, very good, very good. Very nice, very nice. Indes, cool. Okay, stop. Everybody gather around, please. What did you do?
If he if he hit me, he also put his hand over my hand.
Yeah, but that's yeah, that's like grappling, man. Like, cute. If he didn't kick you in the chest, you're okay.
That's a counter punch.
Yeah, that's a counter punch, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so question for the class: how many doubles and afterblows did you have? Yes. Yes, but no. Fewer, yes. I saw some people going like this. You said fewer, so fewer than the second drill, right? What happened now?
I felt more threatened.
You felt more threatened, first of all, and you were more aware of what's going on, hopefully, right? Because you saw at the second drill that you do afterblows and doubles if you ignore your opponents. And when he said, like, we're ignoring threats, and I was like, please focus at your opponent, you got better at it, right? There will always be doubles and afterblows. I call these innocent doubles. If, like, I'm standing here and we're both going for the thrust at the same time, nobody made a tactical error. Nobody's at fault. We just decided to attack at the same time. It happens, right? But if I start first and the other guy sees that I've started first and still decides to take the 4, right? That's a bad double. That's someone's ignoring the threat, okay? So now with this drill, hopefully, you got a bit better at trying to observe when threats are coming towards you and not ignoring bad doubles, okay? That's the best you can do as a fencer. There will be innocent doubles. You're going to get hit from time to time, but mostly try to ignore bad doubles. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Okay, any questions?
I want to ask you something about the pending threat and doubles.
Yeah.
Can I ask it now or maybe
Yeah, sure, go now.
So what if someone makes a pending threat?
Yeah.
And so that would be one movement, and then the direct threat is another movement. And
Yeah.
what if you make an attack
During the pending
just
threat.
after or during the pending threat?
It
so
is
before they can do that.
Very intelligent question. It is super legit. You can do that. In modern fencing terminology, which I used to teach my students to because we're not doing just old sources, right? This is called a counterattack, right? Is anyone familiar with the tactical wheel? Raise your hands who knows the tactical wheel. Modern Olympic fencing? You know, very good. It's a thing invented by Szabo Laszlo. He's a Hungarian fencing master, modern Olympic fencing, right? And he made a tactical wheel where he explains kind of like what we're doing now with Nach and Indes, but this is the old medieval way into modern terms, right? On the tactical wheel, the fourth place is the counterattack, like you mean, right? So if someone's here, the moment that they give you an opening, you can attack. That's a counterattack. And you can do two types of counterattacks. One is when you're just not covering anything. It's not with blade oppositions, like you're just hitting the opening. And the other one is like we're doing now with the Indes Meisterhound, right? It's like he's coming at me, but on his attack, I'm blocking his attack and attacking at the same time, right? Yeah, exactly. So you can do a counterattack on a pending threat to answer your question, but just keep in mind that because you're not covering the line, you're not doing this, you're not covering with it. It all depends on athleticism and flexibility. So if you're fast enough, like just raise your hand, right? And go back a bit, right? If you're like do this, like like a moulinet, yeah, go. If you're fast enough to do this and get out, you're gonna hit him and not get hit, right? But if you're not fast enough, then hit me in the head, right? If you go, do the moulinet and then hit me, yeah, okay, go. That's what's going to happen. You did the attack, and then he also lands on you with an afterblow or a double. Okay, so you can do that, but it's risky. Okay.
So is it somebody's mistake if there's a double then?
It's basically your mistake because you should have been guarding the pending threats. If you saw that you're not fast enough, if the opponent is faster than you, you should have guarded him by geometry, right? So you can choose to sidestep and create a new line, right? If he's doing this in front of me, right? I don't want to stand on the line where he's cutting, right? I don't want to be in the way of the death machine, right? I can just go to the sides and choose a new line, right? I don't necessarily have to attack, but I can cover the line, right? If not, if you're fast enough, if you think that he's doing this, you just do this over like a whip, right? If you're fast enough, you're like, boom, and you're out. Well, yay for you, you've won the point. Super cool, right? Just know that there's a risk, okay? Cool, any other questions?
I have a comment.
Yeah.
The better in this game, the better you are not to make any shows or tells.
Yeah.
You can, like, I was standing like 4 or 5 times just jump.
Yep. That's what the Hungarian master calls a direct attack, a simple attack. It's the first in the tactical wheel. If you're committed, you look at him and you do it, it's going to go in, right?
But also, when I've been before in that motion, I know I probably, because I have history on the person, that I can keep doing, so I can be ready. So if he starts moving his arm, I just go into the parry with the other hand. Even I'm attacking.
And you can do the Nach or the Indes. Yeah, that's a good comment. If you look at your adversary and you're actually paying attention to your opponent, you will discover that you don't necessarily always have to fight in 4. It's nice to fight in Nach as well. It's like, okay, I'm going to take my time and parry until I'm sure that this is the moment that I want to go in, okay? You don't need to rush into fencing. You can choose to attack in 4 or fight in Nach or Indes. It's your choice. It's just tactical choices, all these modes, right? Okay. One more thing about what you were saying before with the tells and invitations. There's also the other psychological way of fencing. You can give people invitations, like Meyer says, right? So for example, if I take my weapon and I'm here, right? And we're, in the corners, fencer's ready, salute fence, right? And I go, he's not going to attack me, of course, because there's a point in front of him, right? But if I go like I do this, and then I go here, right? It's like, oh, look, I'm up, and he's probably going to go for my head or shoulder, right? Fight directly, like he says, you just look at the guy and try to go Parry-Riposte or just hit him with a direct attack, or you can give them invitations, okay? An invitation is like, even with the hands, like, oh, look, I'm so open, hit my hands, I'm an ox, And then when he does that, you just pull your hands back and you hit him with the afterblow or something, right? Okay? Not the afterblow, with the second attack, Okay, any other questions on this part? No, good. Most of you are geared up. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes max to fully gear up. I want you to have a gorget, a throat protector, most important. And then plastron is optional, but I recommend it. A chest protector, everything on you. And arms, legs, whatever you need. Full gear, right? What I want you to do is to take your distance as blade to body, like I mentioned before, of the shorter person, right? So I'm the shorter person. That means I'm going to put my percussion point on his face, and I'm going to take a step back, right? Okay, now, me, the guy that's doing the drill, this is the coach, right? He's helping me with the drill. As the student, I'm going to stand in Sprechfenster, but with my left foot forward. If I'm a righty. If you're a righty, you're going to go with your non-dominant foot forward, right? Like this, okay? He's the guy that's helping me coach. So he moves around the map, do it slowly. If he goes back, I go back and keep the distance. Go back some more. Okay, cool. Keep stepping. Okay, cool. If he comes towards me, I keep distance, right? If he goes to the right, I go to his left. If he goes to the left, I go to the left. The point is I keep distance, right? He starts in front target the face. Okay, just raise your arm a bit. Yeah, okay. We move around, keep moving. I'll just keep distance, but do it fluently. Yeah, just do whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, and I keep distance, right? Whenever he wants to, I'm here, right, in Sprechfenster. Whenever I want to, I draw my weapon back into front target the face, right? That is the signal for him to throw me an Oberhau at the face. Go, and he can hit me with a step, right? This is the entire drill for now. I want you to accept losing the 4. And this is a drill for him to do an attack as fast as he can. Okay? So switch roles. Okay, stand on the left foot forward. What? Yeah, in this drill. And then the other drills, we're going to complicate them and you're going to be doing the technique. So he stands in Sprechfenster with left foot forward. I'm in front target the face, right? I keep distance. He keeps distance to me. Okay, if I go towards you, you go back. Okay. And then at some point you draw the weapon. And then I go boom, right? I don't want you to break their face, but do it as fast as I did now, right? So go here and hit him in the face, okay? Go in pairs, let's start doing the drill. Just find enough space to move. Okay, cool. So she's moving, she's the one moving, you follow her. Okay, and whenever you want to, you draw your weapon. Cool, and now she hits you in the head. Good. Try and hit him where he's open, on this side, right? Yeah, okay. It's very important. Just do a diagonal Oberhau. But you start in front target the face. Yeah, okay, cool. Good. You can go somewhere where you have space. Yeah, so you can move around. Just don't kill people. Okay, so who's doing the drill?
I'm coach.
Yeah, okay. So you stand like this, left foot forward. She moves, you follow her, and whenever you want to, you draw the weapon and give her the sign. Good, but don't do this. Just draw it in front of the face. It's going to be important later, yeah, in the drill. Good, very good. Keep doing this. When you do 20 repetitions, you switch roles. When you've done 20 repetitions, switch roles, okay?
How many did you say?
20. Yeah, and switch roles. Yeah, you're supposed to follow, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. As fast as you can. And I don't want you to do a mittelhau. I want you to, like you're here, right? Don't, make some space, make some space. Don't do this because you've stepped first, right? I want you to extend your hands and then take a step. So, boom, okay? Is that okay? It's not hard, right? Cool. Good, better, very good. 20 repetitions and switch roles. Are you a lefty or a righty?
No, I switched.
Oh, you switch, okay, because you're...
But
yeah.
I'm just receiving. So.
Okay, no worries, go for it.
Moving to the grasslands.
Okay. Very nice. People are doing very well about it. Great. If you haven't already, switch roles. Okay, switch roles. Very nice. Good. Very good. Fast and proper. Okay, stop. Gather round, please. Okay, don't take the gear off. We're going to keep going, okay? Yeah. So, in this drill, we got used to taking the 4, right? A simple direct taking the 4. We use the visual sign that usually happens in sparring. Like you'll see people being point forward, and at some point they're going to change guard and do other stuff, right? That's your moment to attack them in the head because they're concentrating on changing the guard. Their nervous system is busy, okay? Both of you took the 4, and the other person just accepted it. They didn't do anything, right? Now we're going to make a progression. We're going to do the same drill, but I'm standing here. I'm the student, he's the coach, right? I'm moving around, or he's moving around, and then when I give him the signal, I'm not going to just accept him taking the 4. I'm not going to stay passive. I'm going to draw my weapon, he's going to attack, and I will parry, riposte, okay? That is your job now. We just move around, you move, I hold distance, yeah, circles as well. Okay, and then whenever I want to, draw the weapon, right? Do it as fast as you can. I don't care what the riposte is. Let's do it slow. It can be this, and this, it can be this, no, go again. Yeah, hit me, it's okay. You can go thrust, you can do whatever, right? As long as you parry and riposte. You can do the parry as a sweeping parry, if you're, that way inclined. You can do it as a static parry. Hit me in the head. Just hit me in the head, it's okay. Okay, static parry, or ideally you would do it as versetzen, displacement, which means that as the cut is coming towards me, do it slow. I'm going to hit the flat of his blade with my edge so that my point remains on line. Let's do it fast. So, here. You see it? Now I'm thrusting distance, right? If you want to work on these fine things, this is the technique part. But I don't care about it. I care about the technical part. If you just do a simple static parry, that's fine too, okay? And then riposte, right? Fast. Let's go for it. And you switch roles after 20 repetitions. Okay, that wasn't a Parry-Riposte, that was almost an Indes, because he attacked you, you went, go again, and you went, You went towards the adversary, you wanted to hit the head. Don't do Indes. Just either step back or to the side or move from the hips. But if I'm doing this, go. This is a parry. I just want to cancel their threat. And that's one action. So one action, second action is the riposte, okay? Nach 4, Nach 4. Go again. Okay, you still step towards her. That's aggressive. Either step back, step to the side, or stand in place. If you step forward, you change the distance. You're gonna go into body-to-body distance.
All right.
Okay? Just stay in the same distance. Good. See? Exactly. And then you can thrust or cut. Good. Left foot forward if you're the righty. So you have the hip power. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, but I can push you with this. I
prefer not to be in the bush.
Yeah, but I'm sure.
You're supposed to let her hit you.
Yes.
Don't panic.
Yes,
You're
no,
being the
no,
coach. Let her hit you. It's fine. You're doing great. Excellent. Very good. Very, very nice. Okay, cool. You're doing great. There's just one comment. Remember what I said about the distances, right? If you're here and he attacks you, no, just go, do your thing. If he attacks you, go. And you step towards him, you're no longer in blade-to-body distance, you're in body-to-body distance. We can touch each other, right? So what I recommend is when you're accepting the nach, you don't want to be aggressive with your footwork, right? You either stand in place and just parry with your hips, or go to the side, right? Or ideally go back. And then you can thrust him, okay? But it's stand in place, side or back. Don't go towards him, okay? Go again. Good. And now try going back as well. When you parry, try doing this, right? Go back with a line step. Good. And then you thrust, exactly. Bravo. Very well. Keep at it. Nice. Good Parry-Riposte. Very nice. Nice. Short edge. Cool. Good. If you haven't, switch roles, okay? Switch roles. Okay. Good. One comment, you're stepping towards him. Now I want you to accept the nach. So he has the 4, right? If you're here, and you're in blade to body distance, right? You can hit him with a step. If you're pulling your sword back, he attacks you, go. And you step towards him, what distance am I in? Body to body, right? I don't want that. I don't want to go into ring, and he's a big guy, he's scary, right? What I want to do is either stand in place and use my hips, or move to the side, or move back. Right? Line step or passing step. So when I parry and I accept the nach, I'm not aggressive with my footwork, okay? I can do this and then go, just hips, and then hit him in the head, go again, or to the side and then hit him, go again, or ideally back if I want to thrust him. So boom, and then I can thrust him with the other one, okay? But don't go towards him. You don't want to be aggressive with your footwork, you want to be defensive. Go again. Good, good. Just do the parry. Focus on the parry first, then the riposte. Okay? 2 actions.
Yeah.
You guys are a bit close. You can hit him more than that. So go a bit back. Yeah. Just give him the point and then pull it back. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're doing it a bit soft. It's like, she's not feeling threatened. Okay. So when you do it, I don't want you to break the mask, but just go right? Like actually hit it, right? Go again. And you're supposed to parry 2 actions. So parry, then riposte, right? First focus on the parry.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. One more tip. Why did this happen? So he attacked you. You was here, right? Just wait a bit. I'll show you. So I pulled my weapon back. He attacked, and you did this. What distance am I in now? Body to body, right?
Body to body, yeah.
I don't want that. When I'm parrying, I don't want to go towards my opponent. If you're accepting the knock, you're accepting the knock. I see this. It might not be a double, but you're in grappling distance and you go into messy stuff, right? So I see many fencers that try to defend, but for some reason their footwork is aggressive, right? If you're defending, you're accepting the knock. So if I'm here, right, I have 3 options: stand in place and use my hips, go to the side, right, with a line step, or go back with a passing or a line step. I'll show the most common option. So go again, hips, right, and then boom, because that was the opening, not the face. Or go to the side. Also, you're cutting like this. I don't know why. Just try to do it. I don't mind, but I'm going to hit other target. Okay, then if I go here, no, attacking. Stepping to the side, and then boom, right? Or going back if I want to thrust him. If I want to thrust him, it's going to be boom, and now I'm in thrusting distance, okay?
Yes.
But don't go towards him. If you go towards him, you end up in a different distance, okay? Okay. Go for it. Just focus on the knock. You're accepting the knock. Mentality is just accepting the knock. Good, you stayed there, bravo. Yeah, just go, yeah, don't lean from the hips. Either stand in place or go back. Try to go back, it's a good instinct. As you parry, I want you to take a step back. So you're here and go, boom, right? Go again. Okay, better, keep at it. Okay, stop, everybody gather around. Even the guys that are drinking water, I'm gonna talk and you can hear me, right? Because we're on the time. Cool. Now we're gonna add another element to the drill. So this whole drill was supposed to make you understand how to accept the nach, right? You've noticed that it's mostly a mental thing. I saw some of you where I went and gave some advice that were parrying while stepping forward, right? That means that you're aggressive with your footwork, okay? You don't want to get closer to your opponent. You're accepting the nach. You can either stand in place and use your hips, or go to the side, or go back if you want to thrust them, right? But you don't want to get aggressive. You don't want to get up in their face. If you're accepting the nach, they have the 4. You are concentrating on 2 actions: parry, riposte, okay? Your riposte is when you take the 4 and you do a forward motion to attack them, right? But you're supposed to be flexible in your thinking and your footwork. It's like I'm here, I move around, I'm not just going forward or not just retreating. I'm always moving around to position myself where I want to be, okay? And then when I parry, it's boom, boom, right? Or I go boom, boom, right? Explosion, all the time. Cool. Now, the next drill, we're going to do the exact same thing, but the student has 2 options now, right? I'm going to take you, please. You have the mask on? Come here. Yeah. I don't know how many of you know how to do it Zornhau, but we're going to do it now. It's going to be a mini crash course. I don't have time to explain it in detail. That's a workshop all in itself, right? But I'm the student. He's the coach. We do the same thing. You go Fontag at the face. Yeah, so I'm here. We're moving around. He's giving me distance, blah, blah. I don't care about the footwork that much. So when I draw my weapon, you now have 2 options. If he comes with the Oberhau, you can do parry, riposte, like you did so far, right? Or you can do it Zornhau. Don't be afraid. I know I don't have a mask. Don't hit me all the way, but stop here. Yeah, okay, hands down, right center. Go. Okay, excellent. He's gonna do this, right? As the coach, please be careful to throw a diagonal Oberhau like he's doing now, right? If you do a middle cut or a Zwerch or other stuff, you cannot do a Zornhau. It's super important that you have the right input from the coach, okay? So that's why all the drills so far were based on a diagonal Oberhau with your hands held low at the teeth, okay? Don't do this, right? Don't do this. Just give him a diagonal Oberhau. So, as a coach, now I have 2 options. I draw my weapon back. If he comes with the Oberhau, I can parry, riposte, or I draw it back, and I do the Zornhau, okay? Thank you for your trust. He was actually going for it. Very good. I had what to work with. Nice. So no, wait. Now we got to explain it. Come back. We got to explain it. So we'll do it super slow. It's glacially slow. As he's coming in, I'm not focusing on his blade, okay? I'm just cutting through the center line. I'm doing the exact same cut that he's doing, and I end up in his neck, throat, or torso area, okay? You do not focus on the blade. You don't do, you don't do this and then thrust, because that's what you were doing before. It's a Parry-Riposte into actions. The Zornhau is the equivalent of what we were doing before with this, right? It's the Indes thing, okay? Except we're doing it with the weapon. So, as you cut into his cut, the weak is going to push his blade away, it's going to be aligned with his torso, and he's going to fall on your strong. It all happens in one motion. Don't focus on it, just cut into his cut. This is in the Liechtenauer Zettel, right? Cut when he cuts, thrust when he thrusts, step when he steps. That's what we're doing here. Now, the footwork is aggressive. I'm taller than him, so I don't need to step towards him. I just need to push forward from the hips, right? You're coiled on your back foot, he comes, and then this happens, right? I extend my hands. I don't need to step, but if there's a taller opponent, you will do, go, this, okay? And then you hit him in the head or somewhere else. Go again. Okay, see? He's smaller, so it doesn't work. Can I have someone taller with gear? Yeah, come here. If your opponent is taller than you, you're probably going to have to step towards them. So, go again, hit me in the head. Good, okay, go again. You see it? Just push. Okay, see it? That's how it works. Now I want to step forward. Now I'm being aggressive in my footwork, right? But if it's a smaller opponent, come again, it might work by just standing still. So go. Go. And I hit him in the face all the time, okay? That's what you got to do. As the student now, you have two choices. Draw your weapon, that's the signal for him to attack. Parry-Riposte, or I can just go, boom, Zornhau, okay? Yeah.
What if it's the same distance?
What?
If you're the same height.
If you're the same height, it doesn't matter. You can choose to stand still and do the hips, or take a step forward, yeah. The blade is going to bend more, but you're going to feel it. Yeah, okay. Let's see how this goes. Good luck with it. I'm sorry, I don't have the time to teach the entire Zornhau. Just do your best. Have fun. Close enough. Go for it. Yeah, that's good. You hit him in the face. Very good. The slice. Okay, but don't do just the Zornhau. I want you to choose either Parry-Riposte or Zorn, right?
Yeah, the Parry-Riposte is a bit confusing.
I know, that's the whole point. Just use both the modes. You got to get used to being in Nach or Indes.
All right, so...
Yeah, okay, good. Alternate between them. Yeah, whenever you want to. Okay? Hold on. Left foot forward. That's the problem. You have to push on your hips. You're a righty, right?
Yeah.
Left foot forward. Yeah, you start from here.
Yeah.
You pull it back, and then you coil on your back foot. And when he comes, you push. Okay? Yeah. Better, much better. Just cut into his cut, and you hit him in the face diagonally, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, you're a lefty. Okay, can you help him out? Help him out. Okay, good. Cut into her cut, okay? Good, excellent, very good. Nice, very nice man. Congrats.
Yeah, that was deliberate, sure.
Yep, very good. You should probably go somewhere a bit more there. Yeah, because you're hitting the other guys. Yeah, this here. Yeah. That's the handle. It's the upper handle. You want to lift your hands. You want to put your hands down. Okay. So I'm here. He's doing this. It's this, right? I'm just cutting into his cut. So it's back again. He's dropping his blade, but if you want to actually hand hit it, see, it goes into his face. Just throw your hands forward.
I guess it's short.
Yeah, I know it's difficult. It's so much to help. No, point forward. Yeah, okay. Okay, almost good. You got his shoulder because he was weaker than you. But try not to cut here. Okay. You want to cut center mass, exactly at his chest. So you snap the blade aside here and you push like this. Okay? Okay. Yeah, go again. Just center, exactly. Center cut. Yeah, that's very good. Nice. And you got him in the face. Bravo. Just push. Yeah.
We're trying to do Zornhau.
Yeah, good. Go for it. Okay, but remember, you're giving him the signal. You're here first and then you drive, right?
No. We're trying to go to the
I don't know what he's doing.
No. Just do the drill. Okay. Good. Okay, cool. Keep at it. Just cut into his cut, okay? You're doing it almost perfect. So it's here. He gives you the cut. Go and, okay, you're cutting above my head. Cut at the teeth. So here and here. You want to cut into his cut instead. You pushed on your back foot and then you uncoil, okay? Go again. Good. But don't aim for his shoulder or his weapon. You don't care about his weapon. Take your arms down. Take your arms down. Yeah. You want to hit this center mass, okay? You're just doing a cut at his torso. That's it. You're not going to the left. Just center. Yeah, exactly. That's the position you want to be in at the end. So you come from here to here, okay? Center. Go. Good. Keep at it. Remember what I said, don't cut him like this, cut him like this. Hands down, center of his mask, okay? Just the cut. You're lifting your arms a bit too high. Yeah. Just cut him down.
Running into the wall.
I know, just cut him down. It's okay. Keep at it. Switch roles if you haven't. Keep at it. Okay, cool. When you're cutting, you don't need to cut at his shoulder. You want to do this. Center mass, okay? So you're coiled on your back foot, you push, he comes with the cut. Go again, don't worry, go again. And you do that, go again. Here, you see it? Go center mass, okay? Switch roles if you haven't. Okay. Here, dramatic,
Met een stap erbij. Het is automatisch heel makkelijk om dat sterk te maken. Ja, dat is maar zo. Het is moeilijk om.
Okay, stop, gather around please. Everybody here? Yeah, okay. Cool. This is the last drill that we're doing. We're a bit over, but we have half an hour free sparring time, so I'm gonna take like 5 minutes from that, okay? Cool. This drill before gave you options as the coach, as the student, I'm sorry, it gave you two options, Parry-Riposte or Indes. I mean, Nach or Indes, right? Parry-Riposte or Zornhau. Now we're going to complicate the drill. We're going to make it a reaction drill in which your coach, like they do in sparring, is not going to do just a simple Oberhau. They have the option to give you two stimuli and you have to map the right reactions to them based on the stimuli that they give you, right? So it's going to look a little bit like this. Can you come here, please, because you have everything? Okay. I'm still the student, she's the coach. But now, when I draw my weapon, the coach can give me an Oberhau, and I'm allowed, like in the drill before, to do either Parry-Riposte or go Zornhau, right? But she can also do a Zwerchhau. So where she's at, when I draw my weapon back, she's gonna throw a Zwerch at my face. Go. Okay, obviously I can't do a Zornhau in this, right? Because her cross is here, right? So I need to identify if what's coming towards me is a simple Oberhau or a Zwerch. Go again. If it's a Zwerch, I will have to go Parry and then riposte somehow, right? I don't care how. But if it's an Oberhau, I pull it back and then I go Parry-Riposte or go again, boom, okay? I get to choose between them, right? This is you're gonna see it's very complex for your nervous system to identify two stimuli, right? But it's closer to what happens in sparring. I mean, if we move around, she can do whatever, and then at some point I go like, look, I'm open, right? She can decide to throw a Zwerch, or she can decide to do an Oberhau. I need to know what's going on, right? Any questions about this drill? Yeah.
The only thing you do against a Zwerchhau is Parry-Riposte.
Yes, because as it comes as a horizontal cut at the high quarter, it's very difficult to do anything to it except the Parry-Riposte. The sources tell you that you can Zwerch into a Zwerch, but usually that means that they have to Zwerch properly, which is this, right? If they just work horizontally, do a horizontal Zwerch. And I Zwerch as well, we're gonna end up in a double, right? But if she were to lift her hands a bit, then I could probably go here and block the blade, right? And also dependent on the height of the opponent. So don't do fancy stuff, don't do Meisterhau against Meisterhau. If you see the Zwerch coming at you, Parry-Riposte. That's it. Any other questions? Good, let's do it, that's the last drill. Break up into pairs and remember what you have to do. It was the Zwerch. Haha.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Good. You have to look at your opponent all the time. Yep. Good. Very good. Keep at it. Almost. Keep at it. Yep. Nervous system went boop, boop, and that was it. Nice. Almost, yeah. Yep, it was the Zwerch. It was the Zwerch. Yeah, gotta watch out. Look at your opponent. Switch roles if you haven't. Switch roles. Switch roles if you haven't. Switch roles. What? Yep.
I'm having trouble to
Identify if it's a Zwerchhau or Oberhau.
Congratulations, that is the point of the drill. Welcome to being a fencer. It's very difficult to tell what someone's going to do in sparring, but if you drill this over and over at home, you know, you do reaction drills like this, right? Yep. And you get two techniques into them. And if you keep doing this at some point in sparring, you're going to see like, okay, he's moving his shoulder, it's a Zwerch. He's moving it down, it's an Oberhau. Okay? You get, there's just repetition. But at this workshop, I'm just giving you the concepts. You don't have enough time to assimilate it now, you know? Yeah, you need to go home and practice it. Okay. Yeah, just keep at it. That's the point. This is the most complex drill of the workshop. It solicitates your nervous system, and it is supposed to be complex. So whenever you have a success, even if it's like, I don't know, 3 out of 10 times, congrats, you did great. It's a super complicated drill. Yeah, keep at it. Good. Again. Good, very good. You saw it was its work. Good. Okay, stop. Everybody gather around, please. So, that was the last drill. Any questions about this drill? Yes?
If I respond to Zwerchhau like it's an Oberhau,
yeah,
I'm still kind of safe and I can still then attack. Is that supposed to happen? Or?
No, it's not. It depends on how they do the Zwerchhau and the height of their opponent. But if it works, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Ideally, their hands should be high. So if you do a Zornhau down, you should not be able to parry that. Okay. But it depends on anatomies and heights. Now, this drill was super complicated, right? What did you feel doing the drill? Like, well, what was the biggest problem here?
It's always safer to just parry and then solve from there, but then you can never reach Indes.
Yes, bingo. Indes is complicated because it requires distance, timing, and great execution, right? The other ones, you might get away with the execution because you just have to be at the right time and parry. Cool.
Keeping each other distant.
The distance, exactly.
If the student not follow the teacher's follow but creeps away,
yeah,
and then they make the move, you cannot do the proper technique as you should do because you're out of reach.
This is an excellent comment. All of the techniques work in the proper distance with the proper stimulus, right? If someone is cutting at you like a Zwerchhau and their hands are held high, you're not going to be able to do a Zornhau. The Zornhau is a center mass cut. It goes through the center line into their chest, right? If they're doing an Unterhau, you're not going to be able to do a Zornhau. If they're doing it in the wrong distance, it's not going to work. That's why Indes actions are so complicated and they're masterful actions, because they require perfect distance, perfect timing, and execution. Okay? Very good comment. Yeah, distance is important. What else was difficult? Other hands. I saw people raising hands.
It's very
Sorry, go.
It's very difficult to do the Zornhau without getting without taking a hit on my thumb.
On your thumb, yes. That is a technique part. It has nothing to do with distance or timing. It just has to do with your execution, right? Yes. You're not cutting far enough into the center. You're cutting the line, but you're staying here. You're supposed to be a bit to the left, okay? Like cut through the center line. But you practice and it's going to get better.
We were dealing with the Zwerchhau.
Yeah.
After the Parry-Riposte.
Yeah.
If you don't move out, like you're still very threatened.
Yeah, of course. The point is there, right? Yeah, they can still keep cutting it. You're doing, Zwerchhopters like everybody likes. Yeah. Very good. Okay. And I suppose you all noticed that the most difficult part of this drill was the neural part, right? Just identifying what's coming towards you, right? There's no shortcut for that. We're going to go back to the beginning of the workshop when I said subconscious reaction is the fastest, right? What you discovered with this drill and the previous one is that you need to train your neural system to identify stimuli, right? Like we did with the slaps. Technique is not the most important thing here. Technique just follows your neural system. If you know that a Zwerchhau is coming towards you, you have a better chance of defending that than if you have no idea what's coming towards you. Okay, does that make sense for everyone? It's like, if you identify the correct stimuli, then you train the technique to respond to those stimuli. Okay? Cool. Any other questions? We have like 5 minutes for Q&A. I already entered into the free sparring time after the workshop, so we have time. Questions?
When you say subconscious, it's the same as instinctive, what some part people refer to as instinctive.
Yes, fight instinctively, not consciously. Don't think about how you fight. If you're thinking about how you fight, you're already too slow. Okay? The problem is that, like the perfect example with someone who hasn't fought before, right? If someone is walking down the street, they're not a fighter, right? And a hooligan just decides to punch them in the face, right? 80% of the time, what's going to be their natural reaction to this? Exactly, like you're going to flinch, right? Because you have no training for this, right? If you're an MMA trained fighter, you're not going to flinch, you're going to dodge and weave, right? But that's because you trained it so many times that you realize what's coming towards you, right? With fencing, we are the same thing. Hema is a relatively young discipline, and we haven't had that many years of training, right? And we're still doing pedagogy and improving. So the point is, we need to train this like modern Olympic fencers do, like MMA people do. We need to train this over and over again, at which point someone does this, your body instantly knows, okay, that's a Zwerchhau, right? And you know how to react to it. Does it make sense? That's what I mean by subconscious fighting. It's like the reflex that you put into your mind.
It's just different.
Instinct or, same thing. Any other questions? 5 minutes.
Is Indes and Meisterhau kind of the same? Or?
No, Indes is the mode you do things. When you say Meisterhau, it's a subset of Indes. If you read the sources, there are 4 master strikes or 5 Hauen, depending on the source. So basically, the 5 that we're talking about are Zornhau, Zwerchhau, Zwerchhau, Krump, and Zwerchhau, right? But you can do other actions that are in this. A good example of this from the sources is absetzen. I'll show you now. So absetzen means setting it aside. Just come here with the blade. Yeah. Just lower your, it doesn't matter. Just without the mask. If she's standing in left flug, right, which is like the common thrust from below, and she does the usual thrust, right, like here. I can be in another guard like, Nebenhook or, just flug like her. And if she does this, I can go here. This is also in this, okay? It's a thrust within her thrust. I move from this hanger, parried with my strong, and then kept going with the center, right? This is absetzen, okay? Schießen, shooting the point. Go down. If I do, I'm here, right? And I do this, I've shot the point, right? People mostly do it in the 4, like taking the 4 and being aggressive with Shisen. But you can do Shisen in the Indes as well. It's like I'm standing here, she does a thrust, and I decide to do this. Okay? It's still Indes. I'm on her action. Okay? Does it make sense? Yeah. So yeah, Indes is just a tactical mode. That's what I want you to understand from this workshop. The sources don't give us precise units of measurement of time, but they give us the phases of the fight, zu Fechten, Krieg, Ringen, and Abzug, and they give us 4 Nach and Indes. And 4 Nach and Indes, if you take anything away from this workshop, they are just correct tactical choices, right? And by choice, I mean you actually choose to take the 4, accept the Nach, or fight Indes, yeah? So if she's looking at me, she's like, point over, right? I can decide that, okay, that's a threat. I would rather let her do something first so I can parry and riposte. Or if I'm the aggressive kind of fencer, I'm going to like, you know, I don't care about her point. I'm just going to take the 4, okay? But it's a tactical choice, right? If I stand here, she does the thrust, and she thrusts me and I do nothing. What is that?
Inaction?
Inaction. It's not Nach. This is not Nach. Nach is a correct tactical choice. Nach does not mean getting hit. Nach means that I'm trying to be defensive and then do something else. Okay? Does it make sense? They're all tactical choices that feature initiative and threat. If you combine these two things, you can understand them. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Well, in that case, my friend Peter here has filmed the entire thing. I'm going to put it on YouTube because I like doing that for the community. It's going to be free of charge. But you can see it at TheHemaDude.com. You scan this QR code and it takes you to my site. I'm going to upload the YouTube link there and on my YouTube channel. So everything we did today here, you're going to find there. And if you guys add me on Facebook or something and you want this, I can give it to you by Facebook. I can give you the layout with all the info. Okay? That was my workshop, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.